Om Jagad Atmane Namah. Now, Antaryami, Atma Swarupa, Jagat Sakshi, these words we have already explained. So, Jagad Atmane Namaha. And next word is Jagat Sakshine Namaha. So, we'll just chant both these names.
Om Jagat Sakshine Namaha.
Om Jagat Sakshine. Jagad Atmane first.
Om Jagadatmane Namaha.
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 Om Jagat Sakshine 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 Namaha.
Om Janapriyaya 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 Namaha. Om Jagad Atmane Namaha. One who is Jagad Atma. Now the word Atma we have already explained to you means the self. And when you inquire who is the self, you know that the self is consciousness, existence, consciousness. But we identify this self with this limited body or this one body and say, this is I, that is you. And therefore, even if I say that, okay, I'm not this body, mind and intellect, I am the witness of the body, mind and intellect, I am this consciousness, the Atma, we still carry this notion that I am the self in this body. I am the witness of my mind, because I don't seem to be reading other people's mind. I am the knower of my thoughts. That is not really very difficult to understand. But to know that this self, the consciousness, this witness of my thoughts, is the same consciousness, Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam, is the same consciousness in everyone. Now we can understand this way. You know your thoughts because of consciousness, everybody knows their thoughts because of consciousness. And therefore, one who is consciousness is the knower of everyone's thoughts, is the self of everyone. Now it is not there are two self, God self and you self. But at this moment, you identify with this individual and call this individual as the self. In the words pointed out that the Lord is Antar Atma, your innermost self. It was already explained. But when we recognize our innermost self, we begin to recognize that that itself is Jagat Atma. It is the self of everybody. At this moment, it's very hard to understand because I can only identify now with this individual. Gurudev used to explain this very beautifully. The fact that you see all these bulbs, fans, air conditioners functioning and sometimes not functioning, it means there is something else that vitalizes it, energizes it. When switched on, the bulb lights up, the fan starts moving, the air conditioner cools, the heater. Now you complaining about the air conditioner? You go to Siddhbadi, you will complain about the heater. So we are only acclimatizing you. Get used to the 20 degrees cold. Tan stitikshasva bharata. Have some forbearance. Because when you reach to 2-degree cold, without a heater, they'll say, Coimbatore was very comfortable. All these electric equipments are functioning because of electricity. Now, a common man will think, this bulb has electricity, this fan has electricity. Now, bulb and fan is limited, and therefore the electricity in it is also limited. But the same electricity which is in the bulb is the electricity in all the bulbs. Now, you do not know electricity, you only see the expression of electricity as light. What really is consciousness is not life or thinking or feeling. All of them are expression of consciousness, not consciousness itself. That's why people say, oh, when under chloroform, I'm unconscious. Your mind is not functioning, but you are never unconscious. Same way, electricity is there all over the wire. It is the same electricity that goes around everything. But you don't have to go and check electricity in everything. You find out electricity in one bulb and you have contacted the electricity in the entire electric equipments of the world, is it not? Same electricity. Therefore, Gurudev said, you have to learn to do electricity yoga, electricity meditation. And he explained to us, oh, this new yoga, because nowadays they have, each one sells the yoga by a new name. No? Hot yoga, cold yoga. Yeah. Soon it will be Chinese yoga, American yoga. So, have you ever tried electricity yoga? Anybody? Now you can patent it. Start it. All the other yogas have become outdated. People are looking forward, especially in the West, for some new yoga. You call it electricity yoga. And give it a catch line. Yoga that electrifies you. We were quite curious to know that Gurudev was a master of every possible technique, every possible yoga, every possible knowledge. You'd be surprised. So, when he mentioned electricity yoga, it was one of those evening classes. I think half the people were beginning to, even though he could never sleep in his class, but were feeling. Unlike youngsters in the morning class, because they don't sleep at night and don't allow others to sleep also. And Gurudev suddenly meant electricity yoga. Everybody was, meditation, everybody would know. Oh, in meditation they sleep, but when they hear about meditation, they're wide awake. Yeah. So suddenly, electricity yoga. And he said, how do you perform electricity yoga? The bulb is up there. You get a stool. Yeah. And even if you are Sharad, you have to stretch out your hand. Yeah? And then you have to unscrew the bulb. And then you have to fold all your fingers. Withdraw all your senses. And with single pointedness, yoga means you make contact. You extend your hand to make contact with electricity. You shouldn't have tried it, because electricity, she's, Nandini, yeah, Suhasini, electricity, she is a beautiful lady. And if you touch her, she's going to bite you. But you want to perform electricity yoga, and you do, and oh! Once you have experienced electricity in that bulb, you have contacted the electricity round the world. If you have doubt, you try next time another bulb. Anyway, you understood what I am trying to also imply. Extended knowledge. You have one marriage. And after having experienced one man, you think, other one will be different. Try it out. All men are same. You also say like that, no? Men don't have guts to say that all women are also same. You contact one electricity in one bulb, you have contacted the electricity in all the bulbs. Whether you pick up, fill up your bowl from one wave or the other wave, the small wave or the huge wave, the water in your pot is one and the same. Jagad Atmane Namah means one who is the self of everyone. And how do we know the self? The self is the witness. That which is seen is not me. If I'm seeing this mic is not me. Is it not? If I'm seeing this body is not me. If I'm seeing this mind is not me. It may be mine, but it is not me. I am the awareness, the consciousness, the witness, the seer who never becomes the seen. And I'm not the seer only of myself, but I'm the seer of the entire universe, and therefore Jagad Sakshi. And Jagad Sakshi is Jagad Atma. And tell me, who is dearest to you? Who is dearest to you? We've already done it. Who's Ananda? One late night, finished. All you need is the New Zealanders to jump and you're finished. The first thing they showed is jump over your mind. Who is dearest to you? Tell me. No, Swamiji, my newfound girlfriend. Swamiji, my parents. Really? Wait till you get married. Upanishads are blatant about it, that everyone is dear because of oneself. Son is dear also because of the self. Wife is also dear because of the self. But we do not know the self, therefore we become selfish. You know, shellfish? Anything that you keep confined starts stinking. When you think yourself to be this individual alone, separate from others, you shell yourself up, and this selfish ego stinks. But when you recognize that that which is the witness of my thoughts is the knower of the entire world, the seer of the entire world, and therefore it is not that I am in the world is in me. And therefore all the beings are also in me only. When Krishna says that in the 7th chapter, and 13th chapter, he says that know this world and this body also to be the field of your experience, but the knower of the field, Kshetragya, who's of the nature of consciousness, the seer. And who are you, O Lord? I am the knower of all the fields. But know that there is only one knower who knows everything. And that knower is the self of everyone. So one who is Jagad Sakshi is also Jagad Atma. One who realizes Madatma Sarva Bhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. One who knows it and shows us that I am not just this individual, but I am that Atma which is the self of everyone. And one who recognizes the self in everyone, how can that person not love anyone? Because love for oneself is natural. It's not that I am loving. Now I have fallen in love. Now I am falling out of love. You cannot fall in love with yourself, nor can you fall out of love with yourself, because love for self is natural. And only when you see yourself in the other can there be love. Everything else is a barter game, a trade which is called as attachment. Therefore, when you say one who is Jagat Sakshi, the witness of the entire universe, who is Chinmayam, Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam, Trailokyam Sacharacharam. As Lord Shiva points out, that consciousness that pervades the entire universe as the self of all beings. Just as gold is the essence, the self of all the gold pots. Just as water is the essence, the self of all the waves, the tiny to the tsunami. Same way, the realized master has realized that the self is only one, and that is the self of everyone. Naturally, what comes out of that is love for everyone naturally. Otherwise, our question always is, how can you love everybody? How can you love these people who do such atrocities and terrible things to people in this world? It is because you see the other. But you also do small terrible things, don't you? So, how do you tolerate yourself? How do you accept yourself? How do you correct yourself? In the same way. Jagad Atma means one who is the lover of the universe. And one thing you felt in Gurudev's presence, whoever came from whatever background, whichever state, even if somebody had done something wrong, he was just an embodiment of love. Even to say forgiving is just like a mother. You go and say, forgive me. Say, for what? I remember one brahmachari who had left the mission, and after leaving the mission, then he begins to appreciate that what is the mission. And he was missing out, really missing out. That the love, the care, the protection that was getting from Gurudev. And when he himself got slaughtered outside, means beaten up, betrayed outside, then he realized what love was Gurudev. So I remember he was in the same city as Gurudev. While Gurudev was there, I was there, and he was in the same city. So he writes a letter to Gurudev of apology and says, may I come to see you? I'm very sorry for what I have done. Now I realize. But may I just come to pay my respect, to do my pranams? And Gurudev says, do you need permission to come and meet your father? Even after you've done anything? Not even forgiveness. That is called as Jagad Atma. The self of everyone. And therefore Janapriyaha, to whom everybody is dear. Therefore day and night he worked for the happiness of everyone. And Janapriya also, one who is dear to everyone. And who can be dear to everyone? The self is dear to everyone. Some of the greatest masters had the greatest of enemies also. And I say great means they were wonderful. Wonderful means, how could they even hate such masters? Sometimes their own family members. If you read the Sikh gurus, it is their own family members who betrayed them and sent them to the Mughals to be tortured. Guru Arjan Dev Sahib. You know what happened to Jesus. So you say, they were hated so much that they were tortured, or people felt threatened. Krishna points out in the Bhagavad Gita, who is the perfect devotee who has become in his love one with the Lord. He says, Yasmano dvijate lokaha, lokano dvijate chayaha. One who people don't get agitated by, and one who does not get agitated by people. It means just like the ocean does not get agitated by even the sharks, and nor the sharks feel any threatened by the ocean, because the ocean is the very self in which all the creatures in the ocean live. Same way, one who has become the self of everyone, everyone is dear to that person, and such a person becomes lovable to everybody. Janapriya. And Guruji, when he spoke on these words, he says, can you imagine how dear is Gurudev even to people who have not met him directly in the physical form? You all are an example of it, is it not? What must have been his love? What must have been his expression and contribution of love, or contribution in love, that even after these masters are gone, people continue to love him. Why? Because they benefit from his love. And how many people round the world, even now those who have not met him, work with such dedication, inspired by his love and his vision. This is called as Janapriya, to whom all the beings are dear, and who is dear to all the beings. Janapriya.